Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gaming Droid and welcome back to modern Skyblock 3. I said we'd come back with a nicer cobblegen, and here we have this is one of my favourite designs for a cobblegen. I'll just use a little bit of cobblestone. You can see I've got a chisel. I built that because I'm going to be using vein miner on my cobblegen and I didn't want to be vein mining the platform I'm standing on. So what we've got is we've got a lava block surrounded by 4 blocks. That falls down onto a platform that is basically a plus shape. So the lava block falls down onto a platform that is shaped... 1 second, I will just grab some cobble from it. Thank you. Onto a platform that's shaped like this. So the lava hits here and spreads out in all 4 directions. Now, because of the way lava works when it detects water that's sitting next to it, all we've got is in these 4 spaces... we've got water falling down and these spaces are empty, so the water isn't spreading out. So basically we've got this, water falls down into here, so the lava spreads out, detects water next to itself and turns itself into cobble. So thanks to vein miner, what we can do is we can sit here and we can actually vein mine and get, it's usually 4, but we might get 3 sometimes. So it got 3 that time because one of them got eaten by the lava. Now the advantage with this particular cobblegen is it's expandable. So if I get some more embossed stone, what I can actually do to expand this is I can actually go, okay, this is going to be another lava column, which will give me 1, 2, 3, 4 more bits of cobble. And to do that, I need to have a place for the lava to go. And then I need to have basically another water source here. Now you don't need water sources on all sides. You can get away with water sources on basically just the one side, essentially. One side or 2 sides. So you can basically make this pattern. And then if I add a lava source here and a water source here, we'll have an expanded cobblegen. Which we need to make some more blaze to do. But that's fine, we need to make another pack of blaze. But I've got plenty of wood. So we'll throw another gunpowder. Nope, not wood. We'll throw another gunpowder in here. And then we'll cook it up. That'll give us the blaze we require to make another one of these. And we'll grab our water dispenser, which doesn't have enough water in it, but that's fine. We'll grab another bucket of water. And then if we put water in here, and we put the blaze block there with a torch under it, like so, that will melt, it'll come down, and we'll have expanded it into an 8 cobblestone gen. It makes a nice pretty pattern on the map, and you can see that there we go. And now when we mine, we have no cobblestone in our inventory. 7 8 8 8 8 8 7 8, and you can see that now we are gathering cobblestone very, very, very fast. The other thing we can do is make ourselves some lava wood later on, which we'll be able to smelt that. Now we can make an automated cobblegen a little bit down the line, but when it comes down to it, if you make a platform that is basically this in a grid pattern and expand it out, you can vein mine yourself almost a stack of cobblestone every operation, every time you vein mine. So with vein miner installed, I like this setup because this is an infinitely expandable setup. The way I like to do it when I'm infinitely expanding it is making sure that I have water on all 4 sides of the lava and just have the one access point, because the water helps to prevent the cobblestone from getting destroyed. So that's what our cobblegen is going to be like. But for now, we have some other quests to get into. So cobblegen, compressed cobblestone. Not too difficult. You just throw together a compressed cobblestone. What you can do is hover over and press K, and it will auto compress things for you. So it's a shortcut in this mod pack is if you just hover over one and press K, it auto compresses it. So there we go. We've got our cobblegen up and running. It acknowledges it. We get ourselves a secret donut. But nobody came. Fair enough. The next is grinders, because we have to grind it up, and we also want to make ourselves a crucible. But, and here's the thing where we need to go kind of over to the side down here for another quest. The stone combustion chamber. The stone combustion chamber is much, much better than the wooden combustion chamber. So we want to make a stone casing and a stone combustion chamber. And for that, we need to cook up some stone. So I'm going to set that cooking in a regular furnace. We're going to get rid of the dirt furnace, because we now have cobblestone. We can, of course, make not just one, but as many regular furnaces as we so desire. Because with our cobble gen, we've got more than enough cobblestone to make furnaces. And actually, I think I might set up a furnace setup on the edge of my cobble generator platform. Now we're just going to power it with a little bit of wood. And we can give it some stone to smelt, because lots and lots of stone is going to be useful as we get further into the mod pack. And we're going to need to smelt up quite a bit of stone. You can see I also upgraded my sword and my axe and my pickaxe to stone just for convenience's sake. Now that we're at the point where we're generating stone more easily than we're generating wood, having the perpetually available stone tools just slightly more convenient. Witches drop witch hats, which is actually very, very useful, because witch hats can be turned into basically all the basic resources. Gunpowder, glowstone, I think even redstone you can turn witch hats into in this mod pack. So don't throw away witch hats. I know they don't stack, but don't throw them away. They are very, very useful. We get a rare loot bag, which gives us Origins of Darkness, an unfamiliar item, and a golden chestplate. Okay. True source of evil. Slightly concerned that I now have something that is apparently a true source of evil, but go on then. And we're going to grab up some stone. We're going to make ourselves a stone combustion chamber and a stone casing. So, stone combustion chamber, as you can imagine, requires a stone heating component, which is a little bit of gunstone. A little bit of gunstone, a little bit of gunpowder. Gunstone. What is my brain saying today? And then we need a casing for it. Now you don't need... one thing you don't need to do is you don't need to have particular casings. Cobblestone. You don't need to have a stone casing for a stone combustion chamber. However, having a stone casing for your stone combustion chamber basically just increases the amount of heat you can use. Now we can't put wood around this one. We actually have to put stone around it. So, although you don't have to put stone around it, you can put glass around it instead. So I might put glass around it later on just to make it easier to see what we're doing. And unfortunately, we can't use a slab, we can't use a trapdoor at the top. That was a mistake. Oops. That's okay. We have the fall through mechanic. So let's land. Missed. Let's try again. There we go. Oops, I believe is the appropriate phrase. Shouldn't have vein mined that particular doodly hopper. I didn't think it was going to be close enough for the vein mine to catch catch everything, but apparently it was. Yeah, we have the whole unfamiliar items get thrown on the floor thing. Minor irritating, or sort of minorly irritating at times, but not a major problem. We don't really care about our wooden combustion chamber, we're actually just going to get rid of it. Now that's disconnected, we can vein mine that, and we do need a wooden button, but oh no, we lost a whole wooden button. Terribly, terribly inefficient. And that's going to be cobblestone, because it's going to have to be broken and replaced over and over again. There's our stone all cooked up, and we've got some stone over here cooked up, and so we've made ourselves a stone combustion chamber, which is far more fuel efficient and just far more efficient in general, and with a stone casing can get to higher temperatures as well. So we're doing reasonably well. We next want to be sort of working on developing a lot of dirt, and for that we need to create plant biomatter. So for plant biomatter, very simple, plant tree, use a kamer, which we can upgrade to a stone kamer to get... actually, we don't need to do that because we've got a shears of the winter. So what we can do is we can use a shears of the winter to shear the leaves. And we will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll make a little bit of plant biomatter just to start us off because it acts like instant bone meal. So 1, 1, and 2, 2. Now this is our last oak sapling, so we do need to just harvest it normally and get some saplings from it. Thankfully, nice big platform. We only got... oh no, we got 2 saplings. Excellent. Which means we can shear the leaves with our shears of the winter and get all of the leaves off it. And this will give us plant matter. Uses, plant matter. There we go. Same recipe in the stone combustion chamber as in the other one. 4 to 1 dirt. But we can store a lot more heat in this one, so we can do more than one recipe at a time. So let's go with... let's try 3 recipes at once. Yep, we can do 3 at once. I wonder if we can do 4 at once. We can do 4 at once. Can we do 6 at once? Now this is the point where it has exactly the right amount of heat, 600. There is an inefficiency to think about. So we will see. No, we can't do 6 at once. There we go, we now have a nice big block of dirt. And we can start setting up ourselves another platform for growing plants. We also have torches, which means we don't have to worry about having this at the moment. We can actually start tidying things up a little bit. So it's nice to have some torches that we can use, and it's nice to have some more materials we can use for assorted tasks and jobs. We actually also have access to an ender pouch straight off, so we can put a lot of our spare tools and things in there. Things that we are going to want to use later on. So let's have a look at tasks-wise. We've got improved melting, which means we need to get some clay and cook that clay up. Now we need some water as well, because we've run out of water in our... But this thing is really very quick to... Not as quick as buckets and things like that, but quick enough that we don't have to worry too much. And we'll throw 8 in there and 8 in there. And the crucible in this is very, very different to the crucible in Ex Nihilo. The crucible in this is used for creating things like crystal shards into crystal fluid or blaze powder blocks into lava. We can also make ourselves a stone grinder if we get some more stone. And for a stone grinder we need some sticks, which means we need some wood. Now what does the quest require us to make? It requires us to make a stone rock grinder and a compressed stone rock grinder. So for that we need 9 rock grinders. So we'll just make sure the quest has recognised that. It has. And then we go use and autofill. And that should get us that quest complete. There we go. Anything good? More ender arrows. Yay, I suppose. So what grinding does is grinding allows us to break down one material for another material. So if we press K, we get some compressed cobble, and what we can do is we can break down this compressed cobble with the grindstone, press grinder, and that gets us gravel. Now what we could do is we could craft the gravel to get ourselves some flint, but instead of crafting the gravel to get some flint, what we could do is we could put it back down and we could grind it again, and this gets us 9 sand and also gets us a random chance of dropping flint. And this kind of introduces you to the idea that you can get more than one thing when you grind. So we got just gravel the first time, but the second time around we got the right amount of sand. We got 54 sand out of it, but we also got some flint out of it as well. And those would have been... I was talking about getting non-flammable blocks from loot boxes. These are the sort of things I'm talking about. You can use these to build a thing without going through the process I went through. Build a cobble gen without going through the process I went through. But we have now got a cobble gen at least. Why do you always give me these things late game? Terrible, terrible game. Giving me these things far too late. I think I have 2 spare chests somewhere, don't I? Yeah, I have 2 spare chests somewhere. So we can use these chests as some more dumping chests. Dumping chests. So now that we've got gravel sand, it wants us to go into the life infusion, which is something that we actually did early game. And it wants us to make a normal sandstone one. Unfortunately, you can't use the sandstone one you've already created, the red sandstone one. It wants you to make a normal sandstone one. So there we go. That's another easy quest complete. Another piggybacker. Oh, so many piggybackers. And then we go into things like the crucible, knives, grass, and it's actually pretty fun. Because with the bricks we can make the crucible. Like that. Exactly as you'd expect. Now the crucible, just like the crucible from Ex Nihilo, requires something to melt, so it requires a heat source. And it has different heat sources that provide different benefits. So for instance, the torch is ×1, lava is times I think 4. But once we have that, we need to go into looking towards getting a condensator, and for that we need to get into basic alchemy. To start off with alchemy, part of the sky resources, you're going to need to make an alchemical fusion table. With it you're going to be able to make different alchemical items. For it to work, however, you're going to need to make a catalyst such as Primus alchemical dust. So if we look at Primus alchemical dust, we can make this in our combustion chamber using charcoal, blaze and gunpowder. Now I don't think we have any charcoal, so we're going to have to grow and break down a tree. But again, shouldn't be a big problem. because instant tree growth. And it's strangely enough, even with using the plant matter, for some reason, once you get to a certain point in the game, sapling drops seem to become so common that I'll get more than the 6 saplings I used to actually begin that process. So let's start making some charcoal in there. Let's start making some glass as well, because we're going to want some glass later on. And as always, don't forget to go and harvest your mobs, because until you've got automated mob farm, you're going to need to be regularly harvesting mobs to get hold of gunpowder, which is the basis of, well, everything in this mod pack. And you can also get loot, which can be useful. In one of my playthroughs of this, I got a helmet that gave me looting 712, which meant that a single creeper was dropping a stack of creeper hearts, each of which could be turned into, or a stack of catalyzing glands, each of which could be turned into 6 gunpowder. So each creeper was dropping 6 stacks of gunpowder, or the equivalent thereof. It doesn't matter how well lit up, you're going to get evolved enderman spawning, unfortunately. It's just something you're going to have to learn to live with. Well, let's see if we've got some more gunpowder knocking about. We've definitely got some more catalyzing glands knocking about, which we can use. So we're going to make some more blaze. We'll grab a charcoal. There we go, we got 12 blaze out of that. I think there's a limit to 3 recipes at a time, I think, or 3 repetitions, or something like 3 repetitions of a recipe at a time. So Primus alchemical dust is 3 gunpowder, 2 blaze, and 1 charcoal. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Dang it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. And then we close her up. We'll use tiny charcoal because it's just a little bit more efficient fuel-wise. And there we go, Primus alchemical dust. And with the Primus alchemical dust, we can start towards making ourselves a combustion chamber, for which we're going to need some stone, which is fine. We have stone. And combustion chamber, condensator. The stone condensator requires... Oh, no, that's the iron condensator. That's the steel condensator. Stone condensator. There we go. So we can make that, and we can make stone condensator. And we also need to make an alchemical fusion table, which is made using another stone alchemical component and some wood and some more primary. So there's some wood. Oak will do. And there's our fusion table. The fusion table is pretty simple. You add things in along with some of this dust and you get stuff out. You can see that the yield is 75%. So it's always worth, because it consumes the materials per yield, it's always worth throwing in something cheap like a piece of glass to get it up to 75 and then throwing in something else to get it above. Which we'll have a look at a little bit later on. Pencil glasses and magic pencil. I have no idea what to do with pencil glasses and magic pencil. I'm going to have to look them up at some point. But just to give you an example, if I put in a piece of glass is nice and cheap. It's just sand and a little bit of cooking, and that gets us nothing, but it gets this up to 75%. So if I did that and then I put in iron and blaze, I would be guaranteed to get that with only consuming 1 iron ingot. So you can see how later on you'll be able to basically cheese this into not being as expensive as perhaps they originally intended it to be, as long as you keep an eye on where that's going. So I think what I will do... Actually, no, we've got some time. I've not done everything. So what we need is we need 2 fluid droppers. That's easy. I'm pretty sure I need cobblestone for fluid droppers, though, and I don't have any cobblestone. So we can just vein mine up a nice big batch of cobblestone. And fluid droppers are just what they sound like. They are something that drops fluid. It takes in fluid from the side and drops it down. Now in the guide there is a thing that kind of, if you go down to condensators, there is actually a section of this that tells you the... Where is it? Fluid droppers... Metal creation, here it is. If you actually have a look at the view setup, it actually shows you how to build a condensator setup. So we have casing, we have solid blocks, we have 2 fluid droppers, a torch, and a crucible up at the top. It's not difficult to make. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to make myself a stone casing. So if we look up casings, you can see that we have an assortment of different things, efficiencies, max heat units, etc. Yeah, I'm just going to make a stone casing because it's not difficult to make a stone casing. Sticks. Stone gear. Stone casing. There we go. And then we can make a stone condensator. Now what we do need is we need a chest to go underneath it. Because the way this works is you pop a chest underneath and it will deposit stuff directly into the chest. We don't need a button or anything like that. And once we get into having a tinker smeltery, we can make this with unbreaking glass. And we need a torch, which I thought I had on me, but I've obviously put them away somewhere. There they are. And the crucible goes on top of the torch. And then we have the 2 fluid droppers. One there, one there. And there you go. That is our completed condenser setup. We drop the crystal shards that we get from this, if we pop another one of these in. We drop these into the crucible and it will produce the liquid that we want. So we can go 1, 2. That will start producing liquid which goes into the droppers, and you can see the tank on the dropper is filling up with liquid. The better the heat source under the crucible, the faster it fills up. Once that's filled up with liquid, it will drop liquid down into here, and then we can place metal dusts in there to get metal out. It's an interesting system, and it doesn't make much sense when you just explain it, but what I will do is I will be showing you how to use it over and over and over again, because unfortunately that's kind of part of the mod pack. Well, not unfortunately, it's quite enjoyable actually. It's very different to X and Hilo, where your early game is very much dependent on you holding right click and sieving. This is the metal generation is automated a lot faster, in that like once you put the metal dust in, it will just keep generating metal until the metal dust runs out. But there's a lot more sort of stages and things to it, which I find quite interesting. It's different than in X and Hilo, where you would just spend your first sort of couple of hours sieving to get materials. Instead you are... So there's our liquid. And next thing we need to do is we need to look into getting some kind of metal dust. A rainbow rune. Because you can see here that one of the next quests we have available to us is iron. So we need to get iron alchemical ore dust. So if we look up alchemical, to get iron alchemical ore dust we need rotten flesh and blaze powder. Now that's not difficult at all. We have rotten flesh tucked away in here. Plenty of this because we've been killing mobs. And we've got a little bit of this resource left, so we can put in that. And it will tick through and it will create us some iron dust. And if we put in one more, because it's at 75%, it's at 25% now, so if we put in one more, we'll get another iron dust from it. And there we go. And if we pop those in here, that will then turn this liquid into iron ingots. It will pop, there's one ingot. This deposited the second bucket worth of crystal liquid, and it will create another ingot. And it's all to do with these percentages. I've actually run out of crystal liquid, but I do have 2 iron ingots. And more rainbow brick. Of course, more rainbow brick. Why not rainbow brick? So you can see that the metal creation is dependent on us creating this iron alchemical dust and these crystal shards. And that's the same for all metals. Whereas other resources are things along the lines of blowing things up in the combustion chamber. Or cooking things down in the freezer. Now, other than this crystal dust, this crystal liquid, what we can do is we can actually put smooth stone there. So we can actually drop smooth stone there and create ore, create ore, proper ore. So if I look up uses, you can see if I put smooth stone in there, it creates an ore. But this is far less efficient. You see this is 3.9 times output, and this is 1.3 times output. Basically, that means for each of these dusts, I get roughly 4 ingots. And for each of these dusts, I get roughly 1 ingot. So, or roughly 1 ore, which translates to 2 ingots. So it's slightly more efficient to use the crystal liquid. And now we have... We're not actually too far off sort of unlocking some extra things. Over in basic tinkering, we need to get some purple slime to unlock the next area from there. And we also need to get some obsidian. Over here, we need to get compressed cactus and go to the nether, which means, of course, more obsidian. But I think what we will do is we will call the episode here. I will do a little bit of farming of resources and things. Ooh, a blaze. I will do a little bit of farming of resources, a little bit of killing, and a little bit of blowing things up. And also a little bit of building. We'll build out another platform. And I will come back in the next episode once we have a slightly larger platform and a few more things to be getting on with. Thank you all for watching. Wow! Reaper 5, Lifestealing 2, Unbreaking 3 and a Sharpness 4 sword, and 2 Redstonia blocks. Okay, I can't use those things yet, but thank you very much, game, for providing them. So I will set about getting things set up and ready for the next sort of section of things we have to do. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-zy-bye, everybody.